Westcast.
Now fix to start kicking ass, just like it said at the beginning of the program.
Man of the hour, Tower of Power, too sweet to be sour.
Sending your ass on the jabroni jet to the other side of the territory, brother.
The Alabama Hammer.
Nightmares on the best part of my day. The goods from the wood.
Hot damn.
Welcome to the Goods from the Woods. My name is Rivers Langley.
Pat Riley.
This is a good night. The man of the hour, the Tower of Power, too sweet to be sour.
No guest today, just the three of us talking.
Yeah, our original guest didn't show up. So,
Yeah, he died.
Fred Durst is going to live on forever, guys. And, you know, he couldn't make it here. It was fitting for this episode, but we're going to soldier on. You know?
Yeah.
I didn't know who he was. I thought he was the guy in the e-cigarettes commercials. But
that's Stephen Dorff.
yeah, I get them mixed up when they have those very staccato names like that. Which one was it that died? Fred Dunst?
Yeah.
Kirsten Dunst.
Kirsten Dunst. And who is the other one? They're the same person.
Alicia Silverstone?
No, Reese Witherspoon.
Oh, okay.
No, Alicia Silverstone's a different person. I know that for a fact. I don't know what she's doing. But Alicia, if y'all listening, you should really get with me. I know you like animals. I got a couple of doggies. You know, we could get on good. Reese Witherspoon and Kirsten Dunst are the same person.
I don't think so.
They look exactly alike.
I don't think so.
What is the difference?
The teeth. Kirsten Dunst has those very weird-looking teeth.
They
They're
could be capped or something.
like gnome teeth.
Or special effects.
No.
It could be spatial effects because, you know, it's two different. It's one actress, and she has like two different personas, like her own Chris Gaines, one of which is the Reese Witherspoon, and the other is the Kirsten
So it's like the
Dunst.
Patty Duke show, kind of?
Well, no, because those are identical cousins, which is slightly different. These are two different identities. You understand?
Identical cousins. I always loved that on the Patty Duke show.
Yeah, I loved everything about Patty Duke's show. She was, oh my God, she's my ultimate woman.
Was Chris Gaines at Woodstock 99?
No, he wasn't. But
Gaines
That seems like a glaring omission.
yeah, it was.
Wasn't he closer to Woodstock 94 in time period?
No, 99.
No,
Was it?
I feel like there, so many loose ends of shittiness came together in a giant knot that was the year 1999.
And I think we're going to get to that
Balloon
because
knot.
our theme for today is concert festivals.
yeah.
Featuring Woodstock. I prefer Altamont, though, because it had that killer set by the Rolling Stones. Literally.
Yeah, Altamont 94 was crazy. Hootie and the Blowfish getting the shit kicked out of them by the Hells Angels. Yeah,
The Hells Angels going nuts during Alice in Chains set.
Yeah.
Fuck, this is the concert.
It just went crazy when Lane Staley overdosed on stage, you know.
I feel like when this podcast inevitably becomes the largest thing in the whole world, we should stage like a new Altamont.
And then we could
like
just have
that.
a live version of the podcast while Hells Angels are just
Stab
beating,
people, yeah.
beating people with pool cues.
I want to point this out to begin with. If you watch the Altamont movie with the Rolling Stones, them Hells Angels know how to dress like nobody's business.
Yeah.
I mean, Sonny Barger and them boys, they were good dressers. They really were.
So did the guy who got stabbed, Meredith Hunter. He was wearing
shot,
this like
too.
amazing it was either a green suit or a purple suit. And
You know, and the Stones look good too, I seem to recall. So
Yeah.
really,
Yeah.
Altamont, best dressed rock festival that they was. Keith Richards had that shit going on like he had in them days when he had that kind of like gypsy outfit and he had the spiky hair
Yeah.
and that like matador jacket and everything.
yeah, Mick had the purple scarf, I think.
Yeah, he was wearing like this almost Jester type outfit there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good shit.
I wonder, did
Altamont 2015 coming soon.
and I love how Charlie Watts, even though there were people being killed in the audience and all hell breaking loose, did not even show any emotion during it. That's a testament to
that's the testament to
the
the
stoicism of Charlie Watts. Yeah.
Exactly. I like the part where Keith goes up to the microphone and says, "Hey, if that cop doesn't stop pushing people, we're going to stop playing and go home." Because it's rare, it's rare you get to see Keith talk before he got the cigarette voice.
Yeah.
And he actually sounds a little bit like a grandmother.
Yeah,
when you hear him
yeah.
talk.
An English grandmother.
But I tell you, that was the first time the Stones ever performed Brown Sugar live. Did you know that?
At Altamont. Wow.
And if you ever hear the bootleg of the Stones set, it was a kick-ass concert. It really was.
Because if I
Because they
remember,
were scared.
Well, yeah, because
Well,
somebody decked Paul Kantner in the face, right?
Yeah.
Like that was where it
Didn't
started.
the Flying Burrito Brothers get the shit kicked out of
No,
him?
no, it was Jefferson
Jefferson Airplane, yeah.
He probably deserved
Oh, I'm sure he earned it, but the best part is when they cut to Jerry Garcia, because I don't even think they either went on for a very short time or they didn't go on, and Jerry Garcia's backstage just like, he's like, I don't want to go out there, man. Like, they just punched Paul Kantner in the face.
Jared Berry don't like violence.
Yeah, but Charlie Watts did not bat an eye.
Yeah. Like, he was the only one that when they had that giant 10-foot inflatable penis pop out of the stage in 75, Charlie Watts was just like, meh.
It looked like they were selling used
happened.
cars with that fucking thing, too. 'Cause it's not a very good penis. I don't know if anybody's seen it. But it just looks like that thing that they use when they're selling used cars,
Yeah,
except
like
it doesn't have the face.
Yeah, it's
and
not the
arms
noodle.
sticking off.
It looks like they just a giant. You know those plastic bags they put around newspapers?
Yeah.
It looks like they just inflated a giant one of those and
Yeah, and it just sort
tuck
of
the
like,
corners.
and it just bends in ways that I don't think we can say this because it's medical, but like the average penis cannot like bend in some of these positions. It just like flops all over the place, like it's half deflated.
I was very happy though when I found out that the Beastie Boys during their first major tour, they were like, "Hey, what do you want for set design? We have a budget. What do you want for set design?" And the only thing they asked for was the inflatable penis from
From the Rolling Stones.
from the Rolling Stones, and they got it.
So the Stones are influential.
So, Rivers, you hosted a concert festival very recently.
Yeah, I did. The festival is called the Waverly Boogie, and so outside of Auburn, where I'm from, about 10 miles north of Auburn, there's a little town called Waverly, and the Birmingham Highway used to run straight through the middle of this town, and they rerouted it out of the town about 14 years ago. And they had this big street festival to celebrate the fact that there weren't 18-wheelers just blasting through the town at 3 in the morning. Because it's a very, very small town.
Yeah.
And my friend Scott Peak owns a business there called Standard Deluxe. They're a T-shirt and silkscreen printing company. He's the one who hosts this music festival now, and he had me MC it for the past 2 years.
What do you do during your MC duties?
I literally I like to I ask whoever the drummer, I'm like, oh, where are you guys from? And then they'll say where they're from. I like to introduce everybody like a boxing announcer. So I'll go, the pride of Discovery City, which was, somebody said they were from Columbus, Ohio, I think. And I Googled it and it said one of their nicknames was Discovery City.
Really?
Yeah, so I was just like, the pride of Discovery City from Columbus, Ohio. Yeah.
Discovery City sounds like one of those stores in the mall that sells like science-y type shit.
Yeah. Got the ball with the lightning in it. That you put your fingers on.
The Bill Nye home game or some kind of shit.
Yeah, a lot of copies. If you don't know Jack.
Yeah.
Computer game.
My friend Rockin' Rob was horrible at that game.
Really?
Like, he could not figure it out.
It was Rockin' Robert.
Rockin' Rob, yeah. And he was horrible at that game.
Pass the ketchup.
Pass the ketchup. Turn and burn, baby. He was going to be the golden boy, but that didn't quite work out. But he was horrible at that game. He really was. He would try to screw me, and I'd say he could not figure it out. 2 puzzles at once was a bit too much for him.
Yeah. Basically, when when Scott asked me to do it, I was like, "Does he want me to do like jokes or something?" He's like, "Nah, man, just tell people, to pick up their trash, and if we got to move some cars, tell people to move their cars." And every year, there's like this one family that lives right next to the festival site, and every year they sit on their porch angry.
Yeah.
Because it's like, come on, once a year this happens in your town. It's not like this is going on all the time. Literally once a year. And they sit on their porch mad. Instead of just going and seeing the music, they just sit on their porch mad and wait for people to park in their yard. And I'm like, why don't you just move your car to the street the night before and it's not like people are doing donuts in their yard and shit.
Yeah.
They charge people. They ought to charge people to park in the yard.
Yeah, they could do that.
They
I
could
don't know.
sell sandwiches
Yeah.
and drinks and things like that.
Exactly. So every year we have to like get on the bike and just be like, okay, if you're parked in front of, give the address, right next to downtown, you got to move your car,
Just sounds like a very friendly festival.
It is.
Yeah, it's a very friendly festival.
It's very fun. It's like cool because it's 10 miles outside of town, and that 10 miles is like a perfect jackass filter. Like, and nobody's out there, haphazardly. No one just
No one
happens
wants to go that
fun-
extra 10 miles to get to Waverly.
Right, unless they're really there to just have fun.
Do you have a special hosting outfit?
Oh yeah. You've seen it. The black shirt. It's a Western shirt.
Oh, okay,
with roses on the
one that
shoulders.
you have on every one of your license photos.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
For those of you that
all
don't know,
purpose.
Rivers has a running theme that he's kept for many, many years
Yeah.
with his driver's license photos.
Yeah.
And-
Well, the reason I got the shirt in the first place, the first time we were asked to host the festival was I was hosting a country music show on college radio, and everybody out in Waverly liked the show, and their usual MC couldn't do it one year, so they asked us to host the show as our radio show was called the Hot Damn Radio Hour.
It is a very, very
Is that
old
right, dude?
steel top guitar.
Is that right, dude?
That's right.
Is that a fact, dude?
It's a fact. And
I'm
speaking
I'm writing a book of facts. You got any more, dude?
well, I should go ahead and tell you that this portion of our show is brought to you by Bodine's Fine Jellies and Tanning Salon, located out on Highway 132, out by the filling station. And good, happy anniversary to Bodine and her Bodine and her
company listeners.
her husband Charles are having their 75th anniversary coming up this next Sunday.
Oh, hot damn!
Hot damn! All right.
And they,
Damn, Daddy.
and they asked us to host it as the Hot Damn Boys, so it was me and my friends
The
Adam.
Hot Damn
As
Boys.
me,
Damn
Adam, and
Boys.
Miles. I was the
That
dude.
sounds like a Miami booty rap group.
the Hot Damn Boys.
The Hot Damn Boys.
It was spelled with a B-O-Y-S, no
Oh,
C.
okay.
And
The Hot Damn
my friend
Boys,
Adam was
two
the
men.
Dolphin, which was a Mark Twain reference that literally one person in all 4 years we did that show got.
And
Like
he
some-
was an English major.
Yeah, somebody called and was like, "Was that Mark Twain?" I'm like, "That was for you. We did it all for you." Because in Huck Finn, the Duke and the Dolphin are these tricksters that trick religious people out of their money. And then my friend Miles was the Doc, so we added a third. We hosted the thing as that, so we wanted to look
The part, yeah.
wanted to look the part. So Adam, to picture it, Adam was wearing the loudest Hawaiian shirt you can imagine, with jeans pulled up all the way, like basically to his nipples, and suspenders, and no shoes.
No shoes, yeah.
My friend Miles, we made him go to a Catholic outlet in Montgomery and buy like full vestments. So he was dressed as a priest with a boater hat. And I was
Sorry.
and I was wearing that shirt and black jeans and a hat, and then a few too many people told me I looked like John Popper, so I never wore the black hat again.
I thought it was Woodstock 94.
Yeah, exactly.
They listen to this program in Waverly, Alabama?
I think so. Yeah, I know my friend John Bryan. Shout out to JB. I know he works out there. He
So would
listens.
this be probably the number one Ichiban, if you will, podcast in Waverly, Alabama?
Oh well, yeah, almost certainly.
Hello,
Mr.
Waverly.
Ichiban right here, Mr. Goodnight.
Yes, exactly. Ichiban got gin, Big Daddy. I go over to Japan. All them schoolgirls can't get their hands off of me. I'll tell you that much. And I give you your shout out saying, Waverly, if Mr. Goodnight come to Waverly sometime, you will out the red carpet. And all the prettiest women and all that. And we'll just have a good time, and we'll stay off of people's lawns.
But yeah, you know, if you are a listener in Alabama, it's the third Saturday every April, and it's my favorite day of the year. I'll be there next year. I'm sure.
I think that would be a hell of an act for the festival, just like Mr. Goodnight's Hoot Revival, and just have a bunch of people playing music and you just going on with your bullshit.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, from the Crescent City of New Orleans, Louisiana, give it up for Hooray for the Win Fam!
I know it's wrong, but I can't help but want you all, babe, to myself. Love is a game we foolishly play. I guess it's always been that way. I know it's wrong, but that's alright.
Have you been to like any big festivals before?
No, I haven't. I Goodnight and I were talking about this. I've never gone because it just doesn't seem. I don't know. It doesn't seem particularly pleasant.
It's standing around trying to find a place to pee for 2 days.
Yeah, I went to Bonnaroo every year for about 6 years.
Is that in Australia? or
Starting in
something?
2004. No, it's in Manchester, Tennessee. It's in the middle of a field in Tennessee in the middle of June. It's very very hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. All right, I think my aversion on the festivals came from being in Civil War reenactments.
Yeah.
Because it's basically being camped out in the middle of a field,
Bonnaroo's a lot like a Civil War
shitting
reenactment.
in porta toilets.
Yep, yeah.
For 2 days, living in tents
In
and
the-
trying
in the
not-
South, in the summer.
and
Yeah.
trying not to get dehydrated from drinking too much beer. When
Yeah, it's a lot like
98 degrees. And shit.
yeah, it's a lot like I imagine a Gettysburg reenactment would be.
Yeah.
Except
3
not
days.
as many weapons.
Yeah,
3
and not as
days,
mu-
hot
not
as
much
hell.
wool, things like that.
Not as
And
much wool, but
probably more black people.
a lot of people on horses smoking weed, though. I bet.
I can go for that.
That was one of the best things because Bonnaroo, they basically just fence off this area. You know, essentially they're like, yeah, just go for it, whatever. And so they have these mounted police.
And they smoke weed?
I
The
saw,
police?
not on the reg, but I did see a cop on a horse smoking a bullet about 3 in the morning. walking back.
I don't smoke marijuana, but if it was on the back of a horse, I
Yeah,
would
of
totally
course.
do it.
Yeah,
That's like the Mountie. Or
That's
some shit.
awesome.
You know, they are Mounties. They're wearing like the red outfits and everything. Like they're
Oh, no shit. They
I don't-
dress like Mounties?
They dress like Mounties and they're on
Mounted
horses.
Mounties.
Yeah, they're not
Except
Mounties.
they're riding around on their horses going, we're not the Mounties!
Sounds like they are. They got the shock stick and
They got the
everything.
shock stick, yeah.
Yeah, they probably do actually.
And then at the end of the night, they start fighting prison guards and stuff. You know? And then all the Mounties go to jail. And
You'll see those guys walking around, and that's it. That's the only cops.
You go to the fun festivals, don't you,
Yeah.
Revis?
That one, it was really fun. I feel like I'm almost too old for it now, but at the same time, if a bunch of my friends were like, "Hey, we're going to Bonnaroo this year," I was like, "That'd probably go."
did you do all the like stereotypical concert festival stuff, or were you? Because I imagine that you were pretty much.
Do you
like,
mean as far as drugs
Yeah,
go?
yeah.
The very, very last time I ever got high was Bonnaroo 2004.
Mm-hmm.
It was the day we got there, and me and my friend got high as soon as we got there because it's just everywhere. It's
Yeah.
it's pervasive
Yeah.
there. You can just walk around, and in 2 seconds you can.
got-
There's guys literally holding up,
Yeah.
gigantic, nuggets that are like a foot and a half long, and just selling
just
them.
things from like the centerfolds of Thai Times.
For,
just
for real,
there,
yeah. Just people walking around like White Widow, man. Whatever. You can
I
get-
can imagine it like when people come to LA and they see like, women that would probably be in Playboy, like centerfold quality women, they're just like, oh my God. It's just like, I imagine
Yeah.
for stoners, it just being like, my God, everything's so hot here,
Yeah. And we got there on Thursday and set up our tent, found some weed, smoked a lot, and then
Where'd you find it?
like you can find it pretty much anywhere, but there's always a street, they call it Shakedown Street, man. And you go to Shakedown Street and get your weed, bro. And
They're clever.
so
Clever at Bonnaroo.
we get the weed and we get high, and then there was like a thing I wanted to see. I can't remember what band it was, but there was some band where I was like, hell yeah, I can't wait to see this band. And then I slept through it, and I was like, you know what, I'm done.
That's called getting
That was it. But yeah, it was just because I
We
missed,
should
I
get
missed the
high,
band I wanted
Rivers.
to
We
see.
should get high.
I've thought about it because now I'm like, I'd like to try to write jokes, maybe.
Oh,
doing
that would be good, but we should just get high.
I think it'd be good. It'd be worth a try.
I'm just saying.
You guys can get Caillou and watch Caillou.
Yeah, exactly. No, but I'm saying get high sometime and write down your jokes, then read them when you're sober. You're
Right.
like, what the fuck was this shit?
If it's anything like the times when people talk about smoking pot and writing down jokes when they're on stage at open mics,
Right.
it's just nothing good comes of
Yeah.
it.
I got high
because
and
that's
fell
the
off
best they can
stage.
do,
Yeah.
I fell off the stage once when I was high. I stepped off and it was like a Wile E. Coyote. I'm like, oh shit, there's not steps here. I ate shit.
Every year I went to Bonnaroo, I heard the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Like
Yeah.
just like a non sequitur, just
Of
something.
course.
So the first year I went in 2004, the big headliner was Trey Anastasio from Fish was playing. I was a Fish fan at the time. I was super into
Ah,
It wasn't even a full fish. It was just him.
it. It was just him.
And he's probably playing with something terrible like Bella Fleck and the Flecktones.
Oh, the Flecktones are great. Don't hold your tongue there. They're fucking awesome. But he was playing 2 sets on Sunday night to close out the festival. The second set was just going to be a good old rock and roll set with his band. The first set, he was playing with the Nashville Chamber Orchestra. Like, he had written a bunch of orchestral music, and he was conducting, and he was
Alright,
he was literally wearing a tuxedo and conducting a fucking orchestra.
Why come the Nashville Orchestra didn't just say no?
I-
We're
Yeah.
throwing a line in the fucking sand. We do Beethoven and shit.
Yeah.
And we're not going to do just any pot smoking jackass
Gonna-
Yeah, I mean, if you're
that learned how to write music.
If you're a symphony orchestra, the only rock acts you can play with are hard rock acts. You
Yeah.
can only play with Rainbow. You can only play with Deep Purple. You can only play with the Scorpions.
But even that's
Metallica,
just for the
S&M.
money.
That's an exception though.
Well,
that
even
was
that's-
bad.
But even that's just for the money. But
Right.
I mean, so if anybody's out there listening, look, if you got like a jam band, you smoke a lot of pot, just because you can put a couple of notes together on your guitar does not make you an intellectual, does not make you a genius, don't even necessarily make you much of an artist. So don't think that you can step your way up to highbrow music Because fucking Mozart, you ain't Jack. Just because you learned how to draw a couple of little ant stickmen on a G clay, pretend you're writing music by drawing little pictures of ants on musical sheets.
So he played.
Know your role. That's the point. Know your role.
So he comes out in a tuxedo with a full orchestra and proceeds to play like orchestral arrangements of First Tube and Gaiuti, man.
What is Gaiuti?
Gaiuti was the ugly pig who walked on me and danced a jig.
Is this fucking Charivari shit?
No, it's just fish.
Gaiuti sounds like, I don't know.
Somebody get Howie. What was that thing, Gaiuti? I was watching that bald kid on PBS.
It's a song. I don't know, man. See, I'm not like.
Oh man, I went on when I was in Peace Corps, man. We went to do some stuff over in Navajo, the Navajo reservation. I got so baked, and they were like, "Dude, it's Gaiuti," and I'm like, "I'm gonna write a song about it."
So he goes through. He plays like an hour with this orchestra, and the crowd was like turning quickly because he played like one or two Fish songs with them, which is what everybody wanted to hear, and then he had all these other just pretty like just standard classical arrangements.
Did somebody yell Judas?
No, people that I did make the joke at the time. I told my friend Matt, like, he was like, "This is gonna suck." I'm like, dude, think about it like this. Everybody like scoffed at Dylan when he went electric. This is the night that Trey goes classical. I said this.
Play it more Baroque. Play it more fucking Baroque.
People were throwing glow sticks at him, which is what they do at Fish shows. They throw glow sticks at the band.
Oh, wow.
And
it's like Halloween gone horribly wrong.
Yeah. So everybody's like throwing glow sticks and shit. They finally, after an hour, they finish their set, and Trey turns to the crowd and he goes, "I want to give a big thank you to the Nashville Chamber Orchestra." And everybody claps, and I just hear a guy behind me go, "Dude, that must be one big ass chamber." And I was like, I died 1,000 deaths right then laughing at that shit. It was amazing.
All over again, because you must have died before listening to that shit.
Yeah, I was into it at the time. I won't completely disown Fish. It's more just like I just grew out of it. You know what I mean? But it was a hell of a lot of fun.
You have made your Bonnaroos and Waverleys and all this. You made it sound very fun, Rivers.
Yeah.
Taking us through a little dreamscape of times going by, the green grass of home.
Oh, yeah.
If you will.
The only concert festivals I went to were the more restrained, like one day sort of deals where you could just like go.
Like a City Stages kind of.
Yeah, and then just not even a City Stages thing. Like in Atlanta, there was this venue called Lenny's. And Lenny's was originally just this giant piece of garbage. Like it was basically a double wide trailer on a foundation. And whenever there were shows, like the ceiling was really low because it was essentially a double wide trailer. And there were on many occasions where I saw people just get their heads put right through the ceiling.
Oh, Jesus.
During a show. Like somebody was like, especially because they had a lot of punk acts and people were getting into it, and like somebody would be pogoing or trying to go nuts or mosh or something like that. And like there'd be a small slam pit and somebody would just get thrown up in the air and their head would get stuck like in the ceiling. It would be
Like a
absolutely
cartoon.
yeah, exactly. And the guy that lives on the roof that's on the Barca Lounge is just like, "How did you get in here?" You know? But
Wait. This is a festival in a double
no,
wide?
this is what Lenny's used to be, and it used to be the nastiest bathroom of all time. It was like top 3 grossest bathrooms on Earth, or at least top 3 grossest in the United States. It was.
I don't know. You've taken a shit at Redondo Beach?
Oh, this is even worse. This was bad.
Wow.
Yeah, because this wasn't even a public bathroom. This was a bathroom in a building that's not attached to a park. It was bad, and because it was essentially one of the big trough deals, but it was essentially they just got like an old bathtub and just put a bunch of ice in it, and it's just like piss in this.
That's like a fetish place, except there was no guy wearing a mask in there.
But there was they moved to a bigger venue, which was like in a strip shopping center, which wasn't as good because it was just like a big black cinder block room that they would have like established acts in. But they used to have this thing every July called Corn Dog-a-rama.
Oh boy!
And it was bands and corn dogs, and it was just like all just a celebration of corn dogs. Where it just so happened that like King Kong and the Barbecue Show would be playing or something
sweet.
like that.
At least
They're
the
great.
corn dogs part of that sounds pretty good.
Yeah, and it was cool. I mean, but it was just during July, so it was hot as the dickens.
I would not want to know what them porta toilets was like when you get a corn dog festival.
And the thing was that I lived nearby, so I could just leave. If I had to go to the bathroom, I could just leave and drive to my house, hang out, maybe watch a little TV, drink something at my place, and get around paying for, expensive beer. But that was a good festival. I could stand a festival where I wasn't cordoned off into a defined space for a long period of time. If I could have the option of just like leaving and coming back and stuff like that, that would be great.
Don't some people actually do that shit now?
Well,
Like,
people do that with Coachella.
People do that at Bonnaroo too. They'll get a hotel in Manchester and just drive.
But
to
I don't
want to
spend like a grand on having that luxury.
Right.
That's just something that I'd much.
That's
I'd
a
much.
lot to go to pay for a concert.
Yeah, I'd much rather just watch a concert DVD really loud.
Well, you don't get high and go to the racetrack and watch horse racing.
My thing with Bonnaroo was
that anyway.
it just turned into our annual camping trip.
Yeah.
Like, and I did Boy Scouts, and so every year it became like my chance to be like, oh my God, we're going camping. Like, I have a list of like things you need to bring and stuff. Like, I would organize it like a Boy Scout camping trip and shit, just with all my friends.
And they'd let you bring like Coleman stoves in there and stuff.
Yeah,
like that?
yeah,
Wow.
we'd cook.
Because I always imagine that they'd be very draconian about both having like combustible fuels in those areas
And a bunch of drugs.
and a bunch of drugs and having.
Nope, they love it.
Okay.
It would make sense.
Yeah.
No, I mean they really truly don't give a fuck.
Really? Because
Like
I would just be afraid that they would like control that so nobody would end up like
Nope.
MacGyvering some sort of napalm to throw at string cheese incident or something like that.
Maybe that wouldn't be
I
a
saw
bad thing.
Jesus there. I saw they went on hiatus. I saw one of their last shows.
Oh man, I thought when I went to college,
And I left to go see Aesop Rock like halfway through. I was like, okay, this is
very
boring.
smart move
Where you went home and watched Bullwinkle? What's Aesop Rock?
He's a rapper,
with a very wide vocabulary.
not to be confused with ASAP Rocky
Does
or
it tell,
be
like,
confused with
fables?
Ace of Base.
or Ace of
I mean,
Base.
does he rap fables about animals or something like that?
No, he's just he's just got a very deep voice, and he just goes, "I'd stop my city with one brick, and then I put on another brick." That's
When
how
I
he
was-
talks.
Sounds interesting.
When I was in college, I didn't know nothing about jam bands before I went to college. Like that,
Yeah.
In Florida, jam bands wasn't the thing. You
Yeah.
know, it was
Except
more.
the
of a-
Allman Brothers, maybe.
even then, like that's maybe North Florida, and that's like what Dad listens to.
Right.
But
And Petty doesn't jam, man.
yeah, Petty don't jam. But like, no. But I was like, where I lived, it was just everybody.
Oh, shit. My air left my brain for a second there.
Where I was from, it was like very just like 311 and.
Pass the herb, man.
Well, it was like it was like there was a river and a causeway. There was the island, the barrier island where the beach was, and then the mainland. And if you went on the barrier island, everything was like Sublime, yeah, slightly stupid,
Slightly
Holy
stupid,
God.
yeah.
just like stoner,
The Dispatch.
yeah, just stuff like that. Like
that might be my least.
311 was probably about as hard as they got.
I never knew how to pronounce their name because I thought they were
311.
311.
Yeah, it's 311. That was
Yeah.
our first national tragedy.
Who's got the herb? Natty dreadlocks, skunk butt indica, sativa mariba,
They did this festival in Birmingham all the way up. I think I went to it was either the last one or the second to last
Yeah.
one, and before they ran out of money and never did it again, called
Yeah.
City Stages. And the last one I went to was awesome because it was like the Flaming Lips and the Roots and Jason Isbell. Like, it was a bunch of really
Yeah.
good shows. But there
And
was,
the Roots is a hoot to see
they're always
live,
great.
especially outside.
They're so much fun. Every time I see them, they're one of my favorite bands to see. And so we went to that. But the one that like I'm pissed that I didn't see, my friend Chandler went to and just said it was like the best like on stage meltdown of all time. was in about 2003, I think, Ryan Adams played at Birmingham City Stages.
Oh, I think I heard about
this
yeah.
too.
It's not the one where he throws the guy out for screaming Summer of '69.
Okay, that's the one I heard about.
It's another meltdown. Yeah, so Ryan Adams is playing, and apparently he got about 20 minutes into the set, and he stops in the middle of his break, and he's just like talking shit about the venue, like fucking Comcast, runs your life, man.
Yeah.
Fucking. And this is the best heel turn I've ever heard in my whole life. He goes, I used to live in the South. And everybody's like, yeah. And he goes, I'm from North Carolina. And then a few more people are like, yeah. And he was like, but the South is fucking dead, man. And then people are like, boo. And then he goes, you know where I live? New York City. And people are just like, boo. And then he smashed his guitar and walked off stage.
That is
And then the crowd, and then the crowd threw paste pecani sauce.
Get a rope.
So yeah, that
New York City.
Yeah, that's what he said. The South is dead, man.
But yeah, so where I lived, it was the barrier island was sublime, and then if you went to the other side, it was just Kid Rock. It was Kid Rock. Kid Rock's Cowboy, every jukebox 24/7.
Well,
That's all it was.
To be fair, there was a short window there, when Kid Rock wasn't totally dog shit yet. I mean, before what was that?
Joe C.
Before Joe C dropped dead, the Devil era. Before he done American Badass was the last one before it before he was doing songs with Sheryl Crow, and shit like that. There wasn't.
Don't defend Kid Rock.
Well, I gotta say,
I get a pass for Fish if you get a pass for Kid Rock.
That's fair. Okay. That's fair. Rip.
Yeah, there was so I didn't know nothing about jam bands. That was something that nobody I knew listened to Dave. Nobody I knew listened to any of that stuff. And then I came up there. And people were just gaga over, like, you listen to the Dead. I didn't know that existed. I thought that went away in 1994. I thought that was something that died
with
shortly
Jerry.
After. Yeah, with Jerry. There was that little Grateful Dead, reawakening after Jerry Berry died, and then it kind of went away. I thought that was something that was bygone. Oh, no. It wasn't. And everybody would be listening to just Fish and all this
OAR.
Was this late 90s?
No, it was early 2000s.
Ooh,
so this was
first hiatus.
Yeah. So I went up there and I was a big music dork, kind of that just insufferable music dork guy. And they kept bringing up String Cheese Incident.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a band that they made up to take the piss out of me. It was just oh, Pat, all of you and your obscure bands, have you ever heard of String Cheese Incident? like they were making fun of me or something like that.
Right.
Oh, you've heard of everything, but have you heard of String Cheese Incident? It's like, what the? And I actually looked it up and I was like, this is a real band. That's insane that somebody not only named their band that, but somebody would actually with a straight face say, I love String Cheese Incident. I've been to multiple String Cheese Incident fans. Yeah, it's just
I've been to 4.
Now you've got proof?
Now I got proof. Jesus.
Yeah, they're, whatever.
What was the best one?
I mean, the one in...
Mozzarella.
They were really good at in Birmingham one time. I saw them in 2004.
Okay, so that was the best String Cheese Incident.
I'm more of a Go-Gurt guy myself. So.
Go-Gurt.
Oh, I love String Cheese. Stan.
You mean Gomez? There's another good jam band. Gomez.
You've seen a lot of jam bands.
I was super into it, man.
Well, we smoking tons and tons of doobie
Mexican
back
grass.
then. Yeah, we smoking some marijuana.
In high school, yeah, a little bit.
So you was back then. You were smoking grass, listen to jam bands and shit.
Yeah, I've seen Bella Fleck and the Flecktones a bunch. I've seen Keller Williams a whole bunch.
Whoa, the Secret Rivers is out.
Not secret.
Man.
I'll talk about it.
When I was in high
school, I could see Rivers in a van just driving around.
It was my mom. It was my mom's van. It was the country. You can picture it exactly. It was a champagne-colored Honda Odyssey.
With the seats, did you guys take the seats out so you guys could really just like?
Oh, you don't even have to take
van it out.
You could fold them down.
Oh, van it up.
Super van.
Superman.
Yeah.
Bert and Ernest sang that thing.
We had one year they did a thing in Auburn called it was called Odyssey Fest, and it was just north. It was just north of town in a little town called Camp Hill, and I think the headliners were Galactic, who are great. Despite their name, they're really good because they're like a New Orleans funk band. They're
Right, yeah.
Were you high as shit?
I didn't go.
You were so high you forgot to go.
I was so high, I got grounded, man.
No, I forgot why. I was doing something, but Odyssey Fest. It turned out they had Keller Williams, Galactic, O'Teal Burbridge, who's the bass player for the Allman Brothers, had his band there. Had a pretty decent lineup. A bunch of people came out. It turned out the Lee County Sheriff's Office was sort of secretly behind it, and they just busted everybody.
Oh, man.
It was like a horrible raid. Like, it was a setup.
That's what a disappointment.
Yeah,
It caught me, because that sounded like a hell of a lot of fun.
It was the last year they did that one.
Wow.
First, last, and only year. But,
that's some bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, when I was in high school, I was one of those annoying kids that were like, the Velvet Underground was so much better than the Beatles.
I was more just like, fuck Elliott Smith, man. Fish is fucking where it's at.
Doing the backstroke down Alligator Alley. Flip it to the freestyle. Try to pick up some speed. Ain't no time for breaststroke. I gotta get my ass to the other side. Swimming like a speedboat, so I don't die. Swim for your life.
Do you know what other concert festival that String Cheese Incident played at?
Were they at Woodstock 99?
They were at Woodstock 99!
Really?
Yeah. On the right now, for the record.
So that would have been right after Around the Wheel came out? Yeah.
All right, on the spot, Woodstock 94 or Woodstock 99?
I don't think anybody enjoyed Woodstock 99.
I'm a Woodstock 94 man myself, because I like to
I don't think anybody is like, maybe if you go to Ohio, you could have people that were Woodstock 99 people, or like Florida, or just any godforsaken place. I imagine the best stronghold of Woodstock 99-ness would be Utah. So Goodnight and I were talking about Woodstock 99, and I'd like to read off some of because you can tell the quality and the character of a festival based upon who plays at it and who the people behind the festival said would be encompassing of it. But, oh, wait.
Rivers is making some mischief over here.
This is a picture of me sitting in my dorm the day I moved in. This would have been August 2004, and I'm wearing Tevas and a Fish t-shirt.
Oh, Hippie Rivers!
Oh, jeez.
Oh, my God!
Hippie Terry Gordy.
I ain't gonna say, let's do some Donovan, man. Victor Wooten is the best bassist ever, man.
Victor Wooten is really good.
Maybe you don't take your brown acid, brother.
Michael, I don't like it when you take my String Cheese Incident CDs off the stereo.
Fantasia's cooking all over Woodstock 99.
So here's the thing with so Woodstock 99. Here is the first day. I'm going to cut out certain bands that just wouldn't register to us whatsoever.
Like Quill?
No. I want to hear those.
Okay, well I'll do that. The first day of Woodstock 99 on the West Stage, this is what they who performed. Frostbit Blue.
Okay. Is that like a type of gum or something, or is that a band?
New Dentine Frostbit Blue.
KJ James. I have nothing to say about
that. Is that a basketball player?
Maybe, I don't know. It's from an 80s basketball player.
Sounds like a chick from Decatur.
Yeah, KJ James.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, KJ James, they played Sweet Georgia Brown.
They whistled it.
Yeah, and then he just did some dribbling, and then just threw the confetti bucket on the next act. Little Big Jam.
Little Big Jam.
All right.
These bands just look made up.
Is that like a General Custer themed jam band? Because I might go to that if it was.
It's like they just went online and they did the random band name generator, and they're just like, oh, next up,
Little Big Jam. And one guy in the back is like, damn, I wanted Rocktopus.
Red Herring,
Nope.
Rattle Basket.
Okay. well, was this?
I love that name.
Were these bands that were supposed to be at Woodstock 1? What the fuck?
Yeah, Rattle Basket just sounds like they just sound like either new metal or just like really bad like blues hammer sort of.
If anybody out there listening knows what Rattle Basket is, please write in and tell us.
Yeah.
Vertical Horizon.
Yeah. You're a god, and I am not.
She's everything you Imagine that's when the point in which the fires and all the mayhem started was during that. Because that's when I would have started burning stuff. G-Love and the Special Sauce.
Yeah, I've seen them a couple times.
And String Cheese Incident.
String Cheese Incident is kind of de rigueur.
All right, so this is how we started Woodstock 99. Sterile.
Yeah.
Very sterile.
Yeah.
This is where it starts getting real good. July 23rd, West Stage, Oleander.
Oleander son?
Dude.
Oleander.
Oleander, where you kids all got rocks in your head. What's wrong with you, you dummy?
Dude,
you remember your marijuana pills?
What's that oregano? You got a little. You can't make anything. Look at this guy here. He's got rocks in his head. Look, you can't make anything with that much flour. It's not even much. And you got oregano, dude.
Oleander, man.
What's wrong with you? You shit for brains.
So,
do you remember Oleander?
Yes.
They were like the biggest Nirvana ripoff.
And they were terrible.
Ever. Like, all of their songs are exactly Nirvana.
Were they a tribute band or something?
No.
No. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right, Rivers.
Yeah, dude. Seriously.
They are just...
Hold on, were you at this, Rivers? Woodstock the 99?
No, but I had Now That's What I Call Music Volume 2.
I had that too, but I had the one the kids sang.
A Kids Bop?
Yeah, I had the Kids Bop.
And Oleander was on it, I think.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
it was.
the Umbilical Brothers, I don't know. They must have been big enough to have a Wikipedia page.
I think that's implicit in being brothers, but okay.
Yeah.
Well, no, they've got like they joined at the navel by a umbilical cord or some shit.
And the umbilical cord never went away. And they just like have this long umbilical cord, and then during the shows, people do double dutch with it.
They mic it up and they hit it.
It's like a diddly bow.
Yeah,
just
yeah.
They played umbilical cord.
Yeah, Les Claypool comes out dressed as a monkey and hits it with a stick.
Mo.
Yeah, I've seen
Mo.
Mo a couple times.
Was Shemp there too?
No,
The Roots.
The
played,
Roots?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, this is where it gets great. Buck Cherry.
Oh, shit. I didn't even know they've been around that long.
Oh, yeah.
Oh no, that was the height of their powers. That
Was it?
Yeah, that was the era of All Lit Up.
Okay.
And the headliner of the West Stage on July 23rd at Woodstock 99 was the Insane Clown Posse.
Woo!
ICP.
Great Malenko era.
Yes.
All right.
ICP.
Dean Malenko era.
Dean Malenko
I
era.
think it might have been a reference to Dean Malenko.
It probably was.
Yeah.
So anyway, this is why people burn shit and
Oh, well, at the East Stage, it was James Brown.
Okay.
Old James Brown, yeah. For the, I believe, second night in a row, G-Love and the Special Sauce.
Yeah.
And maybe they're the hardest working man in show business.
They might be live.
Yeah. Throwing copper, baby.
I can feel it coming back again. One of the greatest Beavis and Butthead music videos was the one for I Alone. They're just like, who's this fart knocker wandering around? I think that's the drummer, and it's... Yeah, he was just like, yeah, I think I left my drums in the van. It's like, oh, you don't have your drums. I guess you're just going to have to run around and look like a butt munch for the entire video. So live, Sheryl Crow.
All right. My dad loves Sheryl Crow.
Oh,
it makes no sense. He loves it.
After Sheryl Crow.
Denim skirts, she just owns them.
Yeah, after Sheryl Crow was DMX.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Yeah. The Offspring. That's a weird sandwich right there.
DMX and the Offspring.
No, Sheryl Crow and the Offspring is the bread, and DMX is the meat.
Yeah.
This is this cluster right here. Korn was after the Offspring, and Bush closed it out. This was just
Was
like
that the chemicals between us there?
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. The fact that there wasn't burning and pillaging by this point with a bill like that, I'm just surprised.
Yeah, this bill kind of drags ass.
Yeah, I know, because the live Sheryl Crow, DMX, Offspring, Korn, and Bush.
God,
that looks
what a crazy.
That looks less like a concert bill and more like some shit that a guy would write on his JanSport backpack in like 1999 with like Sharpie in high school. All right, last day, West Stage, Spitfire. Guster
is back.
Guster. They play everywhere.
The unkillable band.
They're unkillable. Followed by Bruce Hornsby, which makes no sense. No sense. That's just the way it is. They should have just had them at the end as everything was burning.
Things will never be the same.
Just playing that song.
That's just the way it is.
Just have them on the west stage and then Mike and the Mechanics on the east stage.
Wait, Mike and the Mechanics were there?
No.
God, that'd be amazing.
Just as everything's burning, just playing the Living Years. After Bruce Hornsby was Everclear.
Yeah.
This is
Wow.
Okay, the order of these bands does not make sense.
No.
Everclear followed by Ice Cube.
Yeah. Ice Cube?
Ice Cube. Pure, he had that Family Values rub off
yeah,
at the
no,
time.
I remember that.
Everclear, Ice Cube, followed by Los Lobos. Like it's like they took,
It's
they
like
just
they had
pulled them out of a hat.
I was gonna say
it was like one of them open mics where they just draw names out of a hat.
It's like they had different pot. It's like they drew it like they drew it like they draw for the World Cup, where they have different pods based on like the name
Oh,
power.
the Crockett Cup.
Yeah,
it was like no. What was the WCW thing where they had the randomly chosen tag teams?
Battle Bowl.
The Battle Bowl. The Lethal Lottery. This was like the Lethal Lottery.
But I think it'd be better if they did the Lethal Lottery with the bands, like just
Yeah,
the
they just
different
fought
members.
each other
It's
to
like,
death.
okay, the next act will be vocalist Ice Cube, guitarist Bruce Hornsby, drummer.
Oh, wait, I play piano. Shut up, Bruce.
Piano, Bruce Hornsby. Guitar, Wes Borland. No, followed by Mickey Hart and Planet Drum.
Hell yeah. you know Mickey Hart from the Dead,
From
man.
the Dead. So you had to have that little crossover
Fuck
there.
yeah.
Moby, which at the same time in which the bands in which all hell was busting loose over at the East Stage was Moby, the Chemical Brothers, and Fatboy Slim playing as like it just turns into hell and rape, just like a hellscape of the worst like depravity.
Yeah,
just at the other side of the airstrip is just like Moby,
and really, which is the worst fate?
Yeah,
East Stage, Tragically Hip.
Ooh,
very, very Canadian deep cut right there. Kid Rock, Wyclef Jean, Counting Crows, Dave, Alanis Morissette,
Dave.
So Dave Matthews Band
Into Alanis Morissette.
Yeah, so you have this thing where it's just like the broiest, crunchiest, chillest, friggin' 96 frat boy like cluster of Wyclef, Counting Crows, Dave Matthews Band, and Alanis Morissette, right?
Yeah.
You set that tone. Following that, Limp Bizkit.
Break your fucking face tonight.
I don't know if people were inspired or were doing it in spite of having to listen to this horse shit, because you have all these absolutely high frat boys who are just like, oh man, Dave's awesome. Oh man, Dave's awesome. Like, it's just like something straight out of 96. And
life is short but sweet for certain.
Yeah, and then it's just like,
Your best bet is to stay away, motherfucker. It's just one of those days. It's all about the he said, she said bullshit.
what is this crap? Followed by Rage Against the Machine.
Fuck yeah.
And then Metallica.
What the fuck?
Wait,
Yeah.
wasn't it just like
on the same stage?
That's awesome.
That makes no
Actually, that
sense.
end part might have been pretty fun.
The end part, I guess, makes
but
sense.
you would have had to sit through Limp Bizkit to get to it.
Yeah, although I can just imagine just like Zach De La Rocha and Tom Morello just pitching a bitch backstage, just being like, why do we have to play after Limp Bizkit? You know, just being like,
Well,
we don't
they-
want to be associated with
If I
these
recall, they did burn an
mullet
American
heads.
flag.
Yeah, they did.
So that's pretty awesome.
At least something good happened that night.
It's pretty sweet.
July 25th,
Wow,
the
they would've
final
just
night.
tapped out.
I know. Spitfire.
Again?
At the West Stage. Yeah, Spitfire again, starting it
In
and
case you
ending
didn't get
it.
enough earlier.
Our Lady Peace. Rusted Root.
Rusted Root. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Lift me upward. Yeah, they're terrible.
Yeah. Followed by Seven Dust.
My favorite kind of poison.
Denial. Followed by Collective Soul.
Yeah.
This is like the worst speedball. Okay, this is the worst speedball ever. Rusted Root, followed by Seven Dust, followed by Collective Soul, followed by Godsmack. Godsmack.
Yeah.
And I hope they did a 20-minute version of the song Voodoo.
Yeah.
Voodoo, voodoo, I'm not the one who's so far away when I feel the snake bite into my veins. Oh, voodoo, voodoo.
Well, I'll say that. I'll take that one over burning the witches and That's
That's not even Godsmack.
That's not Godsmack?
No, that's Rob Zombie.
Well, sorry, Rob Zombie, but that song's so bad I thought it was Godsmack. And I seen a stripper come out to that, and it was terrible. Burning the witches. Not Voodoo. Voodoo would have been better, because that was kind of sultry. Voodoo.
Just like a South Boston Wiccan.
I guess so, or some shit.
The East Stage was Willa Nelson,
Oh, shit.
Hell yeah.
Brian Setzer Orchestra.
Why not? Why the fuck
Why
not
not?
at this
It
point?
was during that really sissy swing revival. No, I'm not dissing Brian Setzer,
Yeah.
mind you. But I'm just saying he was big at the time.
Followed by Everlast.
Yeah. Then you really might know what it's like.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's who that fucking song
Yeah.
is. I used to hear that fucking song every goddamn day.
Yeah, I know. No,
Fucking
you know
channel
what?
in Richmond.
I remember every day waking up in 8th grade and
Pulled out his 445, talks and
I really know
Yeah.
what is.
it was
I
big
had-
like a little while after Rockabye was big and all
Dude,
that shit.
yeah, I had a radio. It was always tuned to Y102, Montgomery's Hits, and I would wake up every day and it would either be that song or
Ladies and gentlemen of the class of 99.
Wear Sunscreen.
Oh my God!
Every goddamn day.
Why wasn't
God,
Wear Sunscreen on this?
Oh my God.
Yeah, where was Boz Luhrmann?
Yeah, where was
that who
New
sang that?
Radicals?
I shouldn't say who talked that. Who was Wear Sunscreen?
It was written and credited to Boz Luhrmann, the director of Romeo plus Juliet and Moulin Rouge and Gatsby. It's credited to him. It's not him talking, though,
Yeah.
but he apparently wrote the thing.
yeah, or
and
he
takes
had-
credit for it.
I didn't think anybody would actually take credit
All right.
for that thing.
Yeah.
So we have all
And then
Everlast.
that one, and I'll be
your crying shoulder. I won't be love suicide.
those three
Where's
songs.
Train on this? I'm pissed. Why isn't Train
Meet
on this?
Virginia.
See, the thing is that we have 4 artists left. Train is not one of them. Because there's Elvis Costello,
Great.
Jewel.
What?
Jewel.
How does this? What are the last? The Chili Peppers closed it out, right?
The Chili Peppers close it out, but in between Jewel,
Yeah, Chili Peppers was the shit back then because that was Californication.
It was right when it came out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was good shit.
That's
priming everything up for the Red Hot Chili Peppers and the Bonfires and Kurt Loder being like, "This is the worst thing I've ever seen."
That's as emotional as he
Yeah,
gets,
yeah.
too.
Was Creed
That's right.
Oh, shit.
featuring
Uh-oh.
Robbie Krieger?
From the Doors?
Doors?
Yeah.
Oh, weren't
Yeah,
they doing
'cause
some kind of
he was
Doors
doing
reunion
a Doors
or
tribute
something?
thing at that point. God, did they do like Roadhouse Blues or some shit? I would set fire to the place.
Save our city.
Maybe that's why they set fire to.
City!
Christ.
Mr. Mojo Rising.
But it's got that. He's got that like horrible Creed voice where he's just like, "Mr. Mojo Rising."
Yeah.
Yeah, Woodstock '99 was bad.
Man.
See, that's like a
not kind of redefined.
and that was
bad.
1999.
Yeah.
That was the cross section of 1999 in pop music.
I mean,
And so we were royally lied to by Prince because it turned out to be not as good as he predicted.
yeah.
And he wasn't even there.
It was
No, because
apocalyptic.
he didn't even have his name at the time. He was doing what, like Rave on
Rave
the
Unto,
Year,
yeah.
Fantastic, yeah. That it was apocalyptic in a way because it was like the moment of truth came, and the moment of truth was that music was going to suck. It is sucking, and it will suck from this point forward.
This is Robbie Krieger from The Doors, man. Keep your eyes on the road to Bonnaroo.
The thing with Bonnaroo is it's always biblical, one way or the other.
I
It's-
like that.
It's either torrential, unbearable fucking tornadoes and rain, or it is like desert dust devils. No, a goddamn dust devil came through Bonnaroo in 2006. There's video of it. You can actually go on YouTube, type in Bonnaroo 2006 tornado, and there's tents 150, 200 feet in the air just spinning around in a circle.
Holy God.
In
Who
the
was
middle
playing
of the day.
at the time?
Let's see. That year it would have been Wolf Mother. I think I saw. They were pretty badass. They all played Flying V's. Even the bass player had a Flying V. They were the shit. They did
That's
that.
awesome.
They were that like. They were like
I mean,
that.
they were bad, but they were.
No, they weren't bad. They were just like a bad Led Zeppelin rip off. Woman, you got to be a woman. Yeah, you got to be a woman.
I mean, they had style.
They were great. I tell you all the story about the Joker and the thief in the night. Dun, 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 dun. They were fucking
I just
awesome.
It
love
was
that line.
1978. That would have been huge.
I just love that line. Woman, you
You got to be a woman. Got the feeling of love.
Is it any,
to be a woman.
is it any worse than Led Zeppelin lyrics?
No, I'm saying they're
Oh, yeah,
good.
no, you
Led
saw it.
Zeppelin lyrics, yeah, which consists of baby. Robert Plant sing like he's falling off a cliff. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
Wow!
Goodnight saw a Led Zeppelin tribute band.
That's right,
yesterday.
like Zeppelin, they was called.
Oh yeah,
Although
I've seen Zoso a bunch.
Well, you know, let me say this about like Zeppelin.
So, ew.
Yeah.
I like
That
Bono.
sounds too hardcore. Of
Oh,
a,
they had
Of a
he
Led
had the real
Zeppelin.
tight blonde curls. The lead singer, he looked like Robert
I'll tell
Plant.
you, well, the singer to the one I saw, like Zeppelin, looked like
Plant,
Robert Plant.
man.
The other guys did not like dress like Led Zeppelin, but the singer looked like Robert Plant.
Yeah.
Which made it even more unusual that they were playing in a bar
Yeah.
at the Redondo Beach Marina. But these boys were the shit. I saw like Zeppelin. If y'all listened, me and Frank was there. We thought you was the shit last night. We really did.
But-
by the end, they even got jiggy and did "Livin' Lovin' Maid" for me, which is my
nice.
favorite of the Led Zeppelin songs.
We're all sitting around. It's 2005. It's been raining all morning, and we're just waiting to go out. And we're sitting in the shade tent, and it's about 10 of us. And my friend Miles has his car parked right there, and we see this woman in a long, like hippie skirt wander up. And there are 10 of us sitting there, and this is in the morning.
I think
isn't
this
at
is the
night.
point where you start cueing "Spill the Wine" by Warren Eric Burden.
That's okay.
In the background.
That will be apropos.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah.
And she wanders up,
There it is.
and we're all watching her, and she lifts her skirt up and just starts pissing on Miles's car, like while we're sitting there, and Miles is just
And then she looked me dead in the eye and said, "You don't get it."
and we're all just watching, and we all just start laughing, and then Miles is like, "What the fuck? What the fuck? Why are you peeing on my car?"
I have to say, I got very excited up to the skirt lifting, but watching women piss is actually not that exciting.
Right.
Again, that's one of the things that festivals disappoint you on.
And he goes, "Why the?"
You get to see a lot of that.
He's yelling at her, and he's like, "Hey, what the fuck?" And she finishes. She like scampers over, and he goes, "Why? Why did you do that? Why did you pee on my car?" And she pokes him on the nose and just goes, "Because you're real, man." And and just walked off into Bonnaroo. The first year we were at Bonnaroo, we were set up next to the nitrous oxide dealer. So,
Wow. For your car or for you?
when you drive in, it's just whoever you're sitting in the traffic jam with, those are going to be your neighbors, because that's where they drive everybody, just in a row for their campsite, and you get one car length for each car for your campsite. And the people next to us were selling nitrous oxide, and playing Dave Matthews Band the whole time. And so just at night, it was
doing nitrous and
All right, hold on.
So
So
this
they were
was-
huffing it, right?
If you
They
can
wasn't.
think
no,
of
they were
any way to
selling it.
destroy doing nitrous is listening to Dave.
So
Matthews
literally
Band.
all night I was just hearing this. It's just like bump, 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 and then just.
So they were huffing it because I thought they were putting it in their car.
No,
so
they were-
could
no,
put
they had-
nitro in the gas tank.
No,
and,
that's what they use. They use the nitrous cans that you would use for a car, and they fill up balloons and they sell them to people, and then you huff it. And
Wow.
and so there's just people wandering through our campsite at like 3 a.m. with these giant balloons, just going.
Because the only music, the only music that's apropos of doing nitrous to is probably like disco era Rod Stewart or something. You know,
Well, this guy Rod Stewart is apropos to doing many things.
I have to give my friend Jonathan full credit for that. That's his old Dave Matthews impression. Just that's it. That's it. That's all you have to do for a Dave. So that goes at J Mose on Twitter.
You remember they used to have a thing called the Nuremberg trials?
if you shout him out, he'll respond.
It's really fun too.
I don't think I could do it.
I remember when people would listen to Dave when I was in college. I was just like, oh, is Dave, right? I love Dave. I love that one song that's like, I'm dead as
I used to play that shit at
guilty
the
as
Lost
charged, and they're like, that song sucks, man.
Well, you were right, Pat. Thoreau had a thing majority of one, and you were definitely the Thoreauvian majority of one now, and you was right.
I'll play this at the end of the show. I'll play the whole damn thing because it's hilarious. No,
This isn't Dave Matthews.
no, not a Dave Matthews song.
It's just us singing Dave Matthews.
No. There's a guy. He's actually he's a Boston-based songwriter. I assume it's not his real name, but he goes by Don Lennon, and
I don't know him.
he has a song called Dave Matthews Comes Alive. It's so good. And they have another song called Really Dave Matthews, where he's talking about how he lied to a girl about liking Dave Matthews to have sex with her. So
You do what you got to do.
You do what you
There,
gotta do.
people did that. That was like, people did that, and I was just like, that is the schmarmiest, grossest thing ever.
It's like, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do.
Why don't you lift weights or something? If you really want to like appeal,
I mean, I don't know. Buying under the table and dreaming is a lot easier than lifting weights.
Yeah.
buy a
You know,
leather
some shit's
jacket.
saying
I don't
that.
A
know.
leather jacket.
Buy a leather jacket.
If you're the Fonz, but you got to do what you got to do. Wow, if we've learned one thing tonight, it's that the music of the 90s was a stinking pile of shit. At least it was after Kurt Cobain blew his own brains out. There's toilet paper right over there up here in Disgraceland, and I'm thinking of this, and it's like I want to wipe out of my mind the memories of a lot of this music and Dave Matthews. Dave Matthews, if there's a God who cares about music, you'll spend an eternity in hellfire, brother.
Hey,
What would you say?
like a monkey on a chain. Hey, so happy you brought this nitrous. What I did on my dorm halls, whenever they would have people blasting Dave Matthews Band, I would I had the biggest stereo in the dorm hall because I just brought my whole like hi-fi and stuff
Freudian,
like that.
Right.
And I put on the Locust.
Oh, fuck yeah.
And blasted it really loud, locked my door, and just left. What do you guys got coming up show-wise?
Man, Altar Call was really awesome.
Oh, Altar Call was the shit, yeah.
We're doing it again.
It was a spiritual experience for all involved.
next month, third Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
We'll be preaching. We'll bring in salvation.
I think-
Women should come down, especially fallen women.
Pat's going to be on the power team.
Yes.
For the next
yes.
one.
We'll be proving the power of God. and
Yes.
what it can do for
By
your
ripping
life.
phone books and
Ripping phone books in half, busting boards.
kicking the devil's ass.
I will probably injure myself, but it'll be in the name of
It'll be worth it.
yeah.
the gods of comedy.
I know a man who injured himself at Calvary for all of us, so it's apropos.
So
Really.
yeah, you can like Altar Call on Facebook, and also
And there might be some special people coming to
yeah,
it,
yeah,
potentially.
it's gonna be great. So if you live in LA, come see Altar Call. Also, if you live in LA, every Friday, 8 p.m. at the Westside Comedy Theater, Unnecessary Evil.
And
Any
give
sketch.
us 5 stars on the iTunes.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah,
Give us 5. Give us a
like
comment.
like General Bradley. Or
Yeah.
something. And let's thank Rivers though, because
Yeah, because he's the engine that makes this thing
he is.
happen.
And today, you understand, when we talked about festivals and shit like that, he brought with him the spirit of fun.
Yeah.
you
And
know,
the spirit of the
that-
Yonder Mountain String Band.
Exactly, and that should pervade everything that you do.
And-
Yeah.
Because have fun until you drop dead.
I
That's
was
my
sitting there
motto.
being all cynical about G-Love and the special sauce.
And Pat was like, "No, I loved it.
Yeah.
No.
I smoked a joint and I drove in my Scooby Doo bus to
Yeah.
see this shit, and,
and I
love
wore
it.
Tivas, and I don't give
And
a
I wore
give
this
a care.
t-shirt.
I don't care what
Yeah.
anybody says.
Yeah, I don't.
Hey, nah.
That's a good way to go out. All right, we'll see you next time.
Don't take the brown acid.
This is a song about me, Dave Matthews, and the band I formed. It was 10 years ago? That was when it all started, at the Earth Day Festival. Are we recording? Yeah. That was our first show. God, I was so nervous. We had 4 songs total. Maybe 5. But when we got on stage, it was magic. I mean, halfway through our first song, everybody came alive. Dave Matthews Band comes alive at the Earth Day Festival, at a concert in Brazil. Dave Matthews Band comes alive at a microbrewery or a Chili's bar and grill. They come alive, come alive. Yeah, I was nervous. But gradually you learn to overcome your fears. I guess I've always been kind of shy. I was what I like to call a dorm room guitarist for about 7 years. At first, nobody wanted to sign us. I mean, they didn't like the music. They didn't like my voice. But after 5 years of touring, we had such a big following that they had to sign us. They didn't have a choice. Dave Matthews Band comes alive up in Burlington, Vermont, at the Sprinkling on the Quad. Dave Matthews Band comes alive on a talk show in New York, at a cookout on Cape Cod. They come alive, come alive. They come alive, come alive. Dave Matthews Band. Dave Matthews Band. Dave Matthews Band. Dave Matthews Band. Even after all we've accomplished, it's like we're just getting started. I mean, we have so much room to grow. This is a song about me, Dave Matthews, and the band I formed 10 years ago. They came alive. They came alive. They came alive. They came alive.
The Goods from the Woods is mixed and edited by me, Rivers Langley, and distributed by Westcast Network. Our theme song is composed by DJ Smiles. You can find him online at djsmiles.net.